I go around and I go around and I go around, I go around. I'm always out, I am always out, I am always out, I'm always out. I keep running so I don't have to go.
Guys, sit down, grab a snack, grab a drink, because today it is finally that time of the year again. We're going to be breaking down the entirety of season 7 of Love Island USA. So if you're new here, I started doing this last year and it's something that I do want to continue. But besides this, we do a little bit of everything. You know, we have some post-grad content, some lifestyle content, some bookish type content, and we also delve into, obviously reality TV, as you can see over here, but also some like music things with like tier rankings. It's just pretty much always a good time. So, you know, if any of that sounds even a little bit interesting, definitely hit the subscribe button down below so you are notified every time that I post. And yeah, as I mentioned today, we are back for Love Island USA. So I just want to say that my mic, I'm not going to be able to move that much because the typical wire for my mic, it's not working. So I have a tiny wire that's connecting this to my phone. And if I move too much, the wire is going to pull and my audio is going to be absolute shit, especially since my window is open and it's pouring outside. So we're not going to have that much movement on this side. Better quality for your ears, you know? This year, I was like, I don't want to be on my iPad because my iPad just like bothers me. So I printed out my entire script. We have, I don't know how many pages, but honestly, looking at it in paper, it seems less daunting than on my iPad. So from now on, I'm going to be doing my breakdowns with paper in my hands. And I guess, yeah, let's just go right down into it. What I did was that I took the more important information and kind of like, scrapped the other things. Like, I'm not breaking down the entire challenge because I did that last year and I feel like it made the video so long and it was kind of like heavy, long, and I was like, no, I don't like it. Also, I'm kind of sick. Is this the video that you want to film when you are coming out of a sore throat? Absolutely not. But we have a schedule to stick to, so if my voice sounds a little bit rough, I'm trying. I sincerely and deeply apologize. I'm trying my best, but let's go right into it. So I am so sorry. We see a little bit of the ring light over here. For the life of me, I tried moving my light around and it wasn't working. And I was like, you know what? I'm sick. I'm tired. I have to film this. It's okay. We're gonna put up with this. So yeah, let's get into the main cast. So first, I'm looking at my paper because I don't remember everyone's age. So over here we have Shelly, who is 27 and from New York. Alandria, who is also 27 and from Alabama. We have Huda from North Carolina and she's 24. She's also a mom, and very important information because it's gonna like play out a bit in this season. We have Yulissa, who is 27 and from Miami. And then finally, Bella. I loved Bella. I'm not going to get into it, but I really liked Bella. Okay, we have Bella, who is 22 and who's from Hawaii. So the girls all come in at first, and then Ariana comes in, talks with them. The girls, you know how Love Island works. It's like, oh, this is my type. This is what I'm looking for. And then we have the boys who walk in. So I do not remember the age of any of these guys. Here we have Ace, who is 22 and from LA. We have Nick, who is 24. And I don't know where he's from. It's not written in my list. I think he's probably from LA. We have Jeremiah, who's 25 and also from LA. Taylor, who is 24 and from Oklahoma. Yes, from Oklahoma. And then finally, we have Austin, who is 26 and from Florida. So obviously, Love Island, people don't know each other, right? So Ariana's like, you know what, girls? You can go kiss 2 of the guys, and then you can pick one of the guys that you kiss to be in a couple. And she draws names to help decide the order and make it random. And a girl can steal a guy who's already coupled up. So first to go is Shelly, and she kisses Austin and Ace, and she decides to go with Ace. How am I gonna do it? I'm gonna say it, and then I'm gonna like move people around and write the couples. Like, audio is better with this mic, but I know it's a hassle. I think I'm gonna get like, I don't know, I have to see how I'm gonna do it in future years. I made my life easier, but I also like made my life harder. Next to go is Huda, and she decides to kiss Jeremiah as well as Ace, and she decides to couple up with Jeremiah. Next we have Bella. Bella decides to kiss Taylor, and then Nick, and she decides to couple up with Nick. We have Alandria, who picks Nick and Taylor, and she decides to couple up with Taylor. Finally, we have Yulissa, who decides to kiss Ace and Jeremiah. And keep in mind, Yulissa went last. Ace and Jeremiah are already coupled up, right? So she's going to be stealing a guy from one of the girls. So she ends up stealing Ace, and then no one picked Austin. So Shelly ends up coupling up with Austin. So here you have it, our OG, primary, initial, I don't know what you want to call it. Can we move this a bit more on the side? Yeah, our OG Love Island couple, so Bella and Nick, Shelly and Austin, Yulissa and Ace, Olandria and Taylor, and then Huda and Jeremiah. My script fell. So obviously day 1, people go getting to know each other, and day 2, everything is fun, flirty, you know, just ultimately, I don't know what word I was looking for. There was not ultimately, it was a word and my brain just bugged halfway through. But yeah, people are just like, you know, having a good time. But then at night, Ariana comes in and she basically sits the Islanders down in a circle and she blindfolds them, right? And she's like, okay guys, like no one's gonna know this. Lift your hand up if you're not like super happy in your couple and you want to like explore other routes. She also mentions that they can kiss someone not in their couple to like, you know, kind of like tell the other person that like, hey, I want to get to know you, even though they can't tell who it is. So the people who raise their hand are Ace, Nick, Shelly, and Olandria. So Ace raises his hand and they can basically kiss however many people they want to kiss. So Ace raises his hand, he kisses Shelly, and then Huda, we have Olandria who raises her hand, who kisses Ace, Shelly, where is she? Shelly who raises her hand, who kisses Ace, and then finally we have Nick who raises his hand and who kisses Olandria. And then surprise, surprise, we have 2 new Islanders who enter the villa. So first we have Charlie who is 27 and who's British, and then Sierra who is 25 and from Arizona. So Ariana lets them both go around, kiss all the girls, kiss all the guys, and then they go wait in the hideaway. So now that people still have their blindfolds on, Ariana asks, you know, who is it with blindfolds on or blindfolds off? I don't remember if blindfold on or blindfold off, but she ends up asking the Islanders who wants to get to know these new bombshells. We have Taylor, Nick, Ace, Yulissa, Austin, who all raise their hand. But then the final decision, it is in the hands of Charlie and Sierra. So Nick and Shelly are invited to the hideaway, even if they didn't raise their hand necessarily. So in this hideaway, it's kind of like a little sleepover to have some one-on-one time, get to know each other. And you know, Charlie and Shelly, they do vibe, they have a lot of fun, but there's no spark, it's not clicking. On the other hand, Sierra and Nick really hit it off, share a few kisses, and you can see that like, okay, because Bella, I love Bella, but she was more like slow, I guess, open up physically, like in the little like not challenges but like in the games she wouldn't kiss the guys on the lips, she would just like kiss them on the cheek because that's just like who she was, right? And Nick was like, you know, I like her but I like that more forwardness from Sierra. So you can see a little thing forming over there. And then back in the villa, back like a few meters away, we have Jeremiah, who obviously he heard when people were kissing Huda. He's not feeling very live laugh love about it. So day number 3, Ian Sterling announces that Yulissa has left the villa, and he doesn't really give us a reason or an explanation. A few clips resurface of her saying some racist things, so like very fair that it was dropped, but like this kind of happens again later on with another Islander, and they didn't explain it with the other Islander, but they kind of said a little bit more here. It was just Yulissa has left the villa. So in the dressing room, Huda's talking with the girls and she's like, you know what, I love that Jeremiah is obsessed with me, he does everything for me. I don't love him, but like I basically love him, right? And she's annoyed that Ace kissed her. And Olandria is like, girl, you've literally known each other for like not even 3 days. Like this is sus. This is weird. Something doesn't seem right. Today, obviously, Charlie and Sierra's first day. So Sierra goes around, particularly getting to know guys. In my script, oh my god, every time that Taylor is supposed to be in my script, I call him Tristan. I don't know why, but I see Tristan all over this page and I'm like, his name is Taylor, it's not Tristan. So Taylor, I apologize. I've been calling you Tristan all this time. But yeah, so Sierra today, she tries to get to know Taylor and Ace. And then Charlie, he's really focusing all his energy on Bella. And Nick, you know, he spent the night in the hideaway with Sierra. So he's really conflicted. He's talking with the guys, talking with Ace, trying to figure out, you know, like, what do I do? Because I do really like Bella, but there hasn't been a kiss. I really like Sierra. And yeah, I've known her for like a little bit less, but I feel like she's given me more. I'm more sure about her. I don't know what to do. So Nick is really in his head today trying to figure out what is going on, you know? And then coming back to Jeremiah being a little bit much. At night, the girls are in the dressing room and Jeremiah comes in. He's like, Huda, what are you wearing? I want to match with you. And obviously it's cute. All the girls like it, but they're also like, it's only day 3. It's cute, but it's a bit much. Then we have Nick, who finally talks to Bella and who finally tells her that he did kiss Sierra, but he's like, hey, you know, that did happen, but I'm still really interested in you. I still want to get to know you. And then we have a text, right? The text that says that Charlie and Sierra are able to couple up. So how it works this time is that all the islanders that want to couple up with them stand up, and then they get to pick between those islanders. So the islanders that stand up, so actually no one stands up for Charlie, so he does remain single. But then for Sierra, Nick, Ace, Austin, and Taylor, who all stand up, and then Sierra gets to pick, so she decides to couple up with Nick. Okay, so we move a few people around. Over here we have all the single islanders, so Ace, Charlie, and Bella. Here we have Nick and Sierra, then you got both. Oh my god. And then Yulissa over here. This is the section where we're going to put everyone that has been dumped because it just clears up the board and makes it easier for me to continue. So after that, Shelly was actually really confused why Austin stood up. So Austin tells her that, you know, like, I really thought you were going to stand up because Charlie was getting to know you. Like, you seem like you were really interested in him. And Shelly's like, you know, it really did shock me. And it's like, yeah, you know, I'm interested in him, but I'm not just going to like jump around. You know, I'm interested in getting to know you too. I'm coupled up with you. I want to prioritize getting to know you rather than talking with anyone else. Well, rather than getting to know to the same level as you, anyone else. So, you know, they have a little talk, but then before bed, Ace pulls Shelly and they actually have a super cute, light, fluffy, flirty moment. And they don't kiss, but he gives her a little kiss on her forehead. So super, super wholesome and cute. And then next day, day 4. So we have Ace where is he? We have Ace who makes breakfast for Shelly and for Olandria, because she was also a little bit annoyed that Taylor stood up. So Ace is like, you know what? He's not going to make you breakfast. So you don't want him to make you breakfast. I'm going to make you breakfast to like cheer you up. Huda's talking with the girls and she's telling them like, you know, I'm really getting close to Jeremiah and I feel like I'm very close to telling him that I am a mom. And Bella, actually poor Bella, like she feels super sad because she's like, you know, I know my worth, I know my value. And I feel like it's just being overlooked everywhere in the villa. Huda, she gives amazing pep talks to all these girls. Huda gets a little bit messy later on, but now super supportive and really cheers Bella up. And then Charlie actually pulls Bella and he tells her, you know, like, I did want to take you to the hideaway, but I saw how you were acting in here. I didn't want to like freak you out. And Bella's like, oh, that's cute. And they agree to, you know, explore, see if anything can go anywhere. And then Bella actually has a talk with Nick. So Nick tries to clarify, you know, what was my mentality for standing up with Sierra? And Bella's like, okay, you know, like, I'm not gonna like blame you. Obviously you wanted to get to know her, but you standing up without telling me anything, like I didn't even know that it was gonna happen. I feel like a fool and I looked like a fool. And Nick apologizes and he's like, you know, I still want to get to know you. I'm still interested in you. And Bella's like, well, you know what? I'm single. I'm gonna act like I'm single. The ball is in your court. And then we have a text. So it's that famous like ranking text to get to know like information about people. I'm not gonna like list every category and everything, but we have a few notable moments, right? So one of them is that Nick, who keep in mind is 24, told 50 people that he loved them. Nick explains, you know, I was a kid, it just came out, it didn't like actually mean it. But the girls were like 50, that's like actually crazy. Whereas Jeremiah said he loved 10 different people and he's basically the same age, but he doesn't give an explanation. So Huda's like, this is weird, like, are you love bombing me? It kind of like puts some doubts in her head. The big one is that Austin sends thousands, like not just 1,000 with an S, nudes. And everyone is like, huh? So Huda's obviously not feeling great about Jeremiah telling like 10 people that he loved them. So she talks with the girls and she's like, you know, I really feel like this is love bombing because like this is a bit much. I kind of already had my doubts and this kind of like enhances it. And we have Taylor and Austin who are actually, no, oh my God, Ace and Taylor who are having their own conversation and they're both like, yeah, you know, Jeremiah seems sus. He's probably love bombing Huda. But then Huda and Jeremiah talk and he's like, a lot of them was when I was younger and only 1 to 2 times it was after I turned 20. Keep in mind Jeremiah is 25. Anyway, like, you know, he could have just said it to avoid thing, but he explains it and they actually have like a really cute, really wholesome, fun chat and Huda finally feels comfortable to tell him that he is a mom. Jeremiah, obviously, he's not expecting it. So like, not that his reaction was bad, but you can tell he was like, I'm gonna need time to process, which like very fair, you know? He needed time to process to like think, okay, like, you know, like it doesn't take away from my feelings for you, but it's also like something big. So day number 5, the next day, we have a little text for a challenge. And and it's kind of like a baseball themed game. So the girls pick guys to accomplish little challenges for like every single base. So they can pick 4 guys, and there's more like obviously physicalness, touchiness, depending on like the number of the base. Everything, it's like typical what you expect, but Bella goes all out in this challenge. Everyone is like, whoa, this is a side of Bella that we never saw. She doesn't pick Nick, right? Which like I kind of like that she did that, because she was like, you know, like, you like this thing from Sierra, let me show you what I can do. And I love Bella. But yeah, once all the girls go, we actually have 2 new girls, 2 new bombshells who walk in. So the 2 new bombshells, I have them over here. First we have Hannah, who is 23 and from Arizona, and from order from first to 4th base, she decides to pick Austin, Jeremiah, Charlie, and Nick. And then we also have Amaya, who's 25 and from New York, and she decides to go with Charlie, Nick, Ace, Ace, and then Jeremiah. So both girls do pick Jeremiah, and no one else really picked Jeremiah because they knew how tight he was with Huda. So Huda, obviously she sees them both picking him. She's not feeling great. She starts crying. After the challenge, we have Hannah and Charlie who talk, and they really hit it off. They're so cute, and they also share a little kiss. And Amaya actually talks with Jeremiah, and she's like, hey, you know, I really didn't mean to be disrespectful. Like, I saw you. I am attracted to you. I didn't know about the situation with Huda. Like, are you still interested? Because I would be interested in getting to know you. And Jeremiah's like, honestly, I'm not closed off, but I'm pretty closed off to Huda. Like, I'm interested in getting to know you, like, obviously, but more in a like platonic friendship type of way. Nick has his 5 seconds of messiness, right? So Nick talks with Bella, and they finally kiss, and we love that. But then basically 5 minutes after, Sierra pulls Nick to the little photo booth, and they kiss again. Kind of messy. Nick ends up talking to Austin after, and Austin's like, dude, this is a recipe for disaster. Like, what are you doing? The next day, day number 6, Austin decides to do something really cute for Amaya. They do this little like morning meditation yoga session, and super cute. Nick actually makes 2 breakfasts, right? He brings one for Bella and he brings one for Sierra, and then he pulls Sierra after, and he asked her, oh, like, how did you feel about me doing it? Sierra's like, you know, obviously it didn't feel great, but I admire that you are completely transparent with me. You know, like, if you pick me, I want to know that you're 100% sure, and like, you don't have doubts in your head, right? Then we have a text for a recoupling, and the guys pick. So first up, we have Jeremiah, and Jeremiah decides to couple up with Huda. After that, we have Taylor. Taylor decides to couple up with Olangia. So these 2, they don't move around in their couples. Charlie goes next, and he decides to couple up with Hannah, and I'm so happy because, guys, they were so cute. They're literally so cute. It's just like I love it. They're just wholesome and adorable. Next, we have Ace, who decides to couple up with Amaya, and then Austin decides to stick with Shelly, and then finally we get down to Nick. So Nick can either pick Sierra or Bella, and whoever he does not pick, unfortunately, goes home. And he decided to go, okay, so in his speech, right? In his speech, he's like saying things. Bella has a smile on her face because she's like, he's obviously talking about me. But then he mentions the photo booth, and her face dropped. And then Sierra is one who has a smile on her face, and everyone is like shocked because they were like, you know, we thought that like you kissed Bella. So I feel so bad for this girl because like she truly thought that he was talking about her until he mentioned the photo booth, and I was like, oh no. This was where I kind of did not like Nick, but Nick truly is an absolute sweetheart. I grew to love him, but at this point I was like, Nikki Poo, what are you doing? So after the recoupling, Amaya and Ace have a little chat. Ace is like, you know, I just want to let you know I'm a slow burner. I'm not super touchy. You being like very, I guess, like extravagant and a lot, like it's a lot for me. And Amaya's like, you know, you saying this right now seems kind of like shitty because why did you pick me? You know, like you picked before Austin. If you wanted Shelly, you could have picked Shelly, but you picked me. But hearing this from you now, it's like, did you even want me? Like, she's like, what is going on? Because also, it's like she also says like, why didn't we just have this conversation tomorrow? Because I was on such a high that I'm not going home, that someone wants to get to know me just for you to say this. So Amaya isn't really feeling super, super great. When the girls are getting ready for bed, they have a chat, and I think it was like Olandria who says, oh, I was actually like really surprised that Nick picked Sierra, or like Nick picked you because he kissed Bella yesterday. And Sierra's like, I'm sorry, what? Like everyone knew that he kissed Bella besides Sierra. So Sierra's obviously like, well, you know, I literally kissed him like 5 minutes after that. This is like, something's up. Something is definitely up. So day number 7, and these are our couples. In the morning, we have Olandria, Taylor, and Ace who are having a conversation. And the guys ask, oh, you know, is Jeremiah being genuine with Huda? And Olandria's like, oh, you know, I really think he is. But then Ace is like, something's off. It's weird. And he's also like, if Amaya was Jeremiah's type, Huda would be done for. He would have ditched her for Amaya. You know, like everyone is like starting to see some cracks, which is like iffy things about Jeremiah. But then we have a text, and Huda and Jeremiah have a little date at a water park. So that kind of like pushed away the doubts I had in my head, because I was like, okay, you know, if they have that, then I guess things are good. But their date is actually like really cute. They end up talking a lot about Huda's daughter. My camera ended up dying. Oopsies. But anyways, on this date, they talk about the future, and they talk a lot about Huda's daughter too. Back at the villa, we have Ace and Amaya who talk, and Ace asks her, oh, you know, like, what do you typically call your romantic partners? And Amaya's like, you know, I call them babe, or like little nicknames. And Ace is like, babe is like a little bit much for me. So they kind of have a conversation about it, but it's awkward. Like you can tell Ace isn't really into her, and that like brings the whole question in your head, like, why would you couple up with Amaya if you clearly like do not want to be with Amaya? Like it gets very awkward. He's calling her passive aggressive, very high tensions. And Amaya obviously like she's feeling shitty, you know? So Nick and Sierra are having a conversation, and remember, Sierra found out through the girls that Nick had kissed Bella. So she's like, you know, were you ever planning to tell me? Like, what's going on? How come I didn't hear about it from you? And Nick is like, no, like, I promise, like, I was gonna tell you about it just last night. It was like a lot of drama, emotions were high, and I didn't want to like do that last night. And Sarah's like, okay, you know what, fair, I'm gonna forgive you this time, but next time, it's like, this is like your last chance to like not tell me, because if not, next time, like, there's no forgiveness. And then when they come back from the date, Olandria actually talks with Jeremiah. So Huda told all the girls that she's a mom, and Olandria asked Jeremiah what he thinks about it, and Jeremiah's like, you know, obviously, like, I'm not against it. Like, it doesn't stop me from having feelings for her, but also I'm not gonna know 100% if I'm okay with it until like I meet the child, I see how the dynamics are. And then Olandria actually opens up, and she's like, you know, I was kind of like dating a guy who had a kid, and then last minute I was like, you know, I don't want to be a part of this, because that guy's partner is always going to be in his life, and that's not something that I want, because like they're not going to want you around, it's going to cause problems. And she's like, you know, with Huda, I don't think it's like that. I don't think there's going to be problems, but like just be aware of what you're getting yourself into, and like be sure that you're fine with it, because this guy who she has a kid with, he's not going anywhere. And Jeremiah, like, he really appreciates it, and he's like, you know what, I'm really gonna think about it, but like, it doesn't bother me, you know? So that's good. We love that. So the next day, day number 8, we have Ace, who decides to plan a cute little yoga date for Shelly. And Shelly's actually in the kitchen making Austin breakfast when he invites her, right? So she finishes the breakfast for Austin, and she goes in the changing room to get ready. And Amaya's also there. Amaya is kind of like annoyed at Shelly, because she, like, after her conversation with Ace last night, she went to Shelly and basically cried, broke down to her, and told her what happened. She's like, you know, what's going on between you and Ace? Because I literally like poured my heart out to you last night, and now he's inviting you out on a date. Like, what's going on? And she's like visibly getting like very, very frustrated and angry. And Shelly's like, hey, you know, like, I'm really not trying to be messy. That's not my intention. I'm interested in Austin, right? I do want to get to know Austin, but I also do want to get to know Ace. And Amaya, she's still heated. She's still like really not feeling great, because she's like, well, you know, he's picky with his boundaries on me, but with you, like, he does anything for you. He's completely open to you, and like, what is going on? They both end up like going their own separate ways, and Ace's yoga date doesn't happen, obviously, because like there are tensions. And he's like, you know what, Amaya, I'm done. I don't want to get to know you anymore. Right after that, we have a text for a challenge, and this challenge, it's basically like you take a little prompt, and you decide the islander that this applies to, then you flip a coin, and on one side of the coin it is a kiss, the other side of the coin is a pie. So you don't really know like what you're gonna do to this other islander. And the only thing that seemed like really like noteworthy was Taylor, when his question was which islander is trying too hard, and he picked Amaya. So obviously after that, Amaya isn't feeling great because she's like, what are you talking about? I was like super genuine the entire time. So Amaya decides to pull him after the challenge, and she asks him to explain himself because she's like, I'm not seeing where you're coming from. Then at night we have Ariana who comes in, and it's basically a little leather and lace party, right? So we have these big X's, and at first we have the girls who tie the boys up to the X's, and it's their fun little challenge. But then after that, we have two new bombshells, two new boys who walk in, and they basically flip the X's so the guys can't see anything. The two guys put the girls on the X's, and the same thing that the girls did with their guys, they do that to, like, both of them do that to all the girls. Obviously the girls are like, oh my god, wow, we have like two new bombshells. We have a female bombshell who walks in, and then the X's flip again, and this girl goes, kisses all the guys. I couldn't really put all the bombshells together, so they're a little bit spaced out. Over here we have Iris, who is 25 and from LA. We have Pepe, who's 27, also from LA. And then Jalen, who is 27, and I want to say from Georgia. So after the challenge, we have Huda and Jeremiah who talk, and Huda's like, you know, Ace is doing all these cute things for Shelly. So I was gonna call him Tristan. Taylor's doing all these cute things for Elangia. I kind of want more. And Jeremiah, he's like, I get that he thinks he's doing a lot, but Huda's like, you know, doing breakfast is the bare minimum, and it's like, I would like more. I can understand why Jeremiah is like, okay, calm down, but it's also like, you guys have been pretty tight since day one. You could maybe try a bit more. But anyways, next day number 10, we have Ace, who asked Nick to teach him and Shelly this little yoga class. So super cute, super fun. And then we have a little bit of problems between Huda and Jeremiah. So Jeremiah makes her breakfast like he normally does, but her pancakes are undercooked. So she goes down to the kitchen, and Jeremiah's in the kitchen, right? She asks him, hey, can you like help me cook them? Jeremiah doesn't really help. So she ends up asking Taylor, and then she goes talk to Jeremiah, and she's like, you know, like, no man should be cooking my food besides you. Like, it just shows you're not chivalrous, you don't care about me. Like, what is this behavior? And Jeremiah's like annoyed and confused because he's like, okay, you know, like, I'm sorry I didn't cook it properly, but like, why did you pull Taylor into this? Like, you could have, like, you know, why are you making a problem where there's no problem? And like, I do see where he's coming from, but then also like, you could have just done, I don't know, like, with them, I never really liked them. I just never got good vibes from Jeremiah. So we have Iris, who's actually really vibing with Nick, and Olandra, who's really vibing with Jalen, and then Hannah, who's really vibing with Pepe. And Pepe and Hannah go to the speakeasy, and they share a little kiss. Hannah is just like the most wholesome bubble of sunshine ever. And even though I love her with Charlie, I love her with everyone. I love Hannah. Hannah can literally do no wrong. Hannah actually pulls Charlie after a kiss with Pepe, and she tells him about it. And obviously Charlie isn't like super happy, but he's like, I'm not gonna stop you from exploring. I really appreciate that you told me what was going on. You know, like, even though I'm not happy about it, I'm gonna let you do what you have to do. So I know if you pick me, you know that you're 100% with me. Which we love Charlie's maturity. Day number 11. So Charlie actually pulls Iris, and this happens like midday in front of Hannah, and Hannah isn't feeling that great, and she's like, you know, I don't know if he's just like doing this because I did that with Pepe last night. And they actually have a conversation after, and they both agree, okay, like, we're not going to get to know other people in front of the other person because obviously it does hurt. Charlie actually does pull Amaya later on, and he's like, you know, I feel like we kind of had a little bit of something when you first walked in the villa. Are you open to exploring and see where things could go? And Amaya's like, you know, Charlie, I do like you and I am interested in you, but I feel like this is a little bit impulsive. It's coming out of nowhere. I'm really close friends with Hannah. I don't want to disrespect her that way. And meanwhile this conversation is happening, you have Pepe and Hannah who are like kissing. So it's like, oh, my heart breaks for Charlie because like I love Hannah and Charlie, but I also really like Hannah and Pepe. But I feel like if I have to pick, I prefer Hannah and Charlie. And I'm just like, oh, Charlie. So at night, Hannah and Amaya talk, and Amaya, obviously, she's gonna tell Hannah what happened with Charlie. And Hannah's like, you know, I'm not gonna like stop you from getting to know him. If you want to get to know him, please go for it. Like, you're here for yourself also, right? And she also opens up to Amaya. She's like, I really do like Charlie. I kind of see it more with him, and with Pepe it's just more like the physical attraction more surface level. I don't know if I messed up. I don't know if I messed up. I don't know if Charlie's gonna be happy. And oh my god, this actually breaks my heart because she pulls Charlie after and they talk, and it's such a good talk, and you can tell that she's like, you know, I explored with Pepe, but I don't want Pepe, I want you. And I'm like, yes, Hannah and Charlie, I love, but then everyone gets called to the fire pit because America has been voting for who the bombshells couple up with. They decided for Iris to couple up with Jeremiah, which everyone was like shocked because they were like, what is going on? And Huda's like obviously pissed because she's like, okay, am I not seeing something? Like, do they just hate me? Are they seeing something that I'm not seeing? Like, what is going on? They pick for Jalen to couple up with Olandria, and then they pick for Hannah to couple up with Pepe. So obviously that means that Charlie, Taylor, and Huda are all vulnerable. And how they decide who leaves is that the Islanders have to vote for who they want to leave. So very messy, right? So first up, we have Sierra, and she votes to dump Charlie. Then after that, Nick goes, and Nick decides that he wants to dump Huda. Austin votes for Taylor. Shelly votes for Charlie. Ace votes for Huda, and Amaya, she's the final vote. She votes for Charlie. That means Charlie's going home. I wanted to cry. I was like, but it's Charlie. It's Charlie. But anyways, Charlie goes home and it's super, super sad. But the guys are talking after. And then Ace is like, you know, I really don't think Jeremiah is genuine because like there was the vote for him to be with Iris. Like there's obviously something that's going on because why would the public vote for that if there's nothing going on? And obviously Huda, she's like very, very like in her head, very like emotional because she almost got sent home. And Jeremiah didn't talk to her for the entire night. So obviously she's pissed off. She's calling him names, very verbally expressing how mad she is with him. So I had to take a little break because my throat was like not having it. It's not like super, super good now, but I'm like, we have to finish this video. So day number 12. So day number 12 starts off with Iris, Jalen, my bad, and Pepe getting a text that they can each go on a date with the Islander that they're coupled up with. And Huda actually wakes, well, this is like before everyone else wakes up, but Huda wakes up and she sees it and she gets mad because already before she was mad. My bad, I just had a coughing fit. She was mad at Jeremiah. So she's fuming, right? She's like, it would take something like a miracle for him to win me back. So when they come back from the date, Jeremiah actually goes talk with Nick, and Nick asks him like, oh, you know, like you didn't really go comfort Huda last night. She was very clearly like not feeling her best, like just out of curiosity, why? And Jeremiah was like, oh, you know, like I wasn't feeling it, so I didn't do it. And Nick is like, okay, I mean fair, but like I did lose respect for you as a man because like you shouldn't be doing that. And then Jeremiah's annoyed because he's like, okay, all of you guys are telling me to go explore, to not put all my eggs in Huda's basket, but now that I'm doing it, everyone is giving me shit. Fair, I can see why he's frustrated, but it's like she literally almost went home. The least you can do is be like, hey, are you okay? Like I'm still interested in you, but I just want to let you know I'm gonna get to know this person. Like there's a way to go about it. And it's like, you like the least, the bare minimum is to go make sure she's okay because she almost left. And like Jeremiah, ooh, he's pissing me off. He is pissing me off. So Huda actually overhears part of this conversation and she gets pissed. She flips him off, starts calling him names, and she's like, okay, I need to know what he did on this date because like obviously like something's going on, right? So she pulls Iris and Iris tells her everything and Huda's freaking out. The girls are able to calm her down, but really just like just Jeremiah. So at night, Huda and Jeremiah actually sit down to have a conversation and he apologizes to her and he's like, you know, like I know I should have like came to you last night, but I couldn't give to you because I didn't have any more in myself. Okay, fair, you know, like you put yourself first, but she almost like literally went home. Like you don't have to have a 2-hour conversation with her, just be like, are you okay, right? So Huda goes off fuming, like screaming match, like saying bad things about him, flipping him off, just like very, very, very big fight. And that pretty much wraps up day 12. Day 13 starts with another conversation that they have, which is explosive and like very fair. I can definitely see where Hood is coming from, like Jeremiah. Just Jeremiah. Also today, Austin says, you know what? I'm tired of being in the love triangle, like me, Shelly. Oh my God. And Ace, so I'm gonna focus my energy into Amaya, and they have a conversation and they're so cute. Like their vibe, it's just absolutely adorable. But then chaos is about to ensue because at night Ariana comes back and we have a recoupling. Oh, this is the messy recoupling. Okay. So in this recoupling, basically you have all the girls who are behind doors, right? And then the girls text the name of the guy who they want to recouple with. So one by one, the guys will go up to the door. And then if they pick the girl who also picked him, the door is going to open. And if not, the door is not going to open, right? I love how Love Island did this. It was, oh my God, my heart was pounding. My heart was pounding. I loved it. I loved it. So Nick goes to Sierra's door and her door opens. So we love that. After that, Pepe goes to Hannah's door. Her door opens. So super, super, super cute. Austin ends up going to Amaya's door. Her door opens. After that, we have Ace who goes to Shelly's door. Her door opens. Jalen goes to Olangia's door. And actually, Olangia's door does not open. So Jalen is single and vulnerable. Taylor goes to her door and it opens. So they are now coupled up together. Finally, Jeremiah. So Jeremiah has to pick between going to Iris's door or to Huda's door. And he decides to go to Iris's door and her door opens, which means along with Jalen, Huda is single and vulnerable. And as we know, it's never good to be single in Love Island. So actually the Islanders have to decide who they want to send home. The Islanders who decide to vote for, like, to save Jalen are Nick, Austin, Jeremiah, and Pepe, and everyone else goes to stand behind Huda. So unfortunately, Jalen is dumped from the island. So after Jalen leaves, we have Huda who's talking with Taylor and with Olangia. She's like starting to get annoyed about Jeremiah like going off on like what he did again. And like very fair, I can understand that you're mad. But then Olangia and Taylor are like, you know, like we saved you because like we want, like we know that you can change. Like we know that you have this growth in you. Like you have to grow because if not, people are going to be like, why did we save her? And then in the dressing room, all the girls are there and they basically agree and say the same thing. And that's going to be the end for day 13. We're going to fix up the board and then come back for day 14. We're slowly approaching Casa and I'm excited. So day number 14, everyone is having fun in their couples and like there's nothing really memorable that goes on during the day, but we get a text because at night we have a little, I guess you can say, game night hosted by Megan Thee Stallion. So we have a couple of games that are going on. The first game is a twerk off. Guys, this was the funniest thing to watch. And can we just like point out how Megan, like she went to talk with the girls and she was like, my favorite moment from the season was when Huda told Nick that she had a kid and Nick was like, Mamacita. I love that. If you do not know what I'm talking about, go look this up. Like, it's everywhere. It's literally everywhere. But yeah, so first little game is a twerk off. First we have Huda who goes up against, where is he? Against Ace. Huda wins. After that, for round 2, we have Amaya who goes up against Austin. It's also a game about like creativity, right? So Austin is able to just pull out moves and he ends up winning against Amaya. After that, we have Nick versus Olangia. Olangia is like something else. So she takes the victory here. And then finally we have Shelly who goes against Taylor. And Taylor pulls out moves that we've never seen before and he takes the win. So girls and guys are tied. And then we move on to game 2, which is a game of limbo. So basically everyone who was not in the twerk off plays in the game of limbo. And it's 2 girls and 2 guys and the boys end up winning. And then finally the last game, it's a, I guess like puzzle game. So they build the bombshell islander, right? So there's a guy bombshell that the girls get and a girl bombshell that the guys get. So they both play, they both like build their bombshell, I guess you can say. The girls win, so the girls get their bombshell first, but then Ariana's like, you know what, like I just can't leave the boys with nothing. So the guys also get their bombshell. So over here we have Andreina, who is 24, and yeah, I don't know where they're from, I didn't write it down in my script. So Andreina, who's 24, and then TJ, who is 23. So Jeremiah gets to start talking with Andreina and he's like, you know what, I'm like super interested in getting to know you, like you're my type. And you can see something kind of like sparking over there. Iris starts talking with TJ and they really vibe and they also share a little kiss. So that marks the end of day 14. So day 15, TJ coming in strong. He makes he makes coffee for Iris and for Amaya and then tea for Sierra. Nick is like a little bit possessive, and he's like, oh, you know, Sierra, like, you don't need that. He like takes it away, but it's not in like a toxic way, you know, it's in like very like cute, wholesome Nick way. And then we have a little text for a game. It's a typical Love Island challenge, and Huda is single, right? So she has to pick someone to do the challenge with her. So she ends up picking Pepe, and Hannah's a little bit confused because she was like, oh, you know, I didn't really know that she was into Pepe, because Huda was actually also kind of like talking with him throughout the day. You know, you could tell that she was into him, and she's also like, you don't really have to ask for permission, my bad. But it's like obviously didn't feel great, and Huda's like, you know, I just want to get to know my options, right? Get to know what's out there. And then we have Jeremiah and Andrina, who have a little chat, and they also kiss. And Gina, girl, you can do better than Jeremiah. Like, let's be so honest. Jeremiah and Iris have a chat because like they are coupled up, right? But they're both kind of vibing with the new bombshells. So they decide, okay, we're gonna be platonic. And Iris tells him about her kiss with TJ, and he tells her about his kiss with Andrina. But he's like, hey, let's keep this a secret. Which great. And then we have Sierra and Nick who have a chat. So in the challenge, Andrina decided to pick Nick, and Sierra's like, you know, obviously she doesn't feel super great about it. She tells Nick, you know, like, seeing you with another girl didn't make me feel like super great. And Nick is like, I see things going somewhere with you, and like I can see us leaving the villa together. So it's super cute, super sweet. We have a text, right? Everyone goes to the fire pit because America has been voting for their favorite boy and favorite girl. So the girls who are at risk are Iris, Maya, and Hannah. The guys who are at risk are Jeremiah, Austin, and Pepe. So how it works is that the girls pick the girl to dump, and the guys pick the guy to dump. So the guys decide to dump Jeremiah, which am I complaining? No. But the girls decided to dump Hannah. I was not okay. I was shocked. I was not, like, I fully thought, like, I love Iris. I fully thought Iris was gonna go home. I seriously did not think it was Hannah. I was like, there's no way. I was so confused. Like, they explain a bit later on why they picked Hannah, and it's like fair, I can understand. But like, no. Just no. But anyways, that wraps up this episode. So we're gonna fix up the board, and we're gonna move people around because next episode is Casa Amor. I don't know how we're gonna end up doing this because I do not think I have enough room on the board. But anyways, so day number 6. So day number 6 starts off with a little kissing challenge, right? So Ariana comes in and she tells the boys that they're gonna be blindfolded with headphones on, right? So the guys are there, like, they don't know what's going on, right? And then Ariana shows these, like, I guess, like, cardboard signs telling the girls to pack their bags and be quiet and to go to Casa. So the girls leave, and then we're doing a little kissing challenge, right? So the 5 new Casa girls come out, and they're the ones who do the kissing challenge. How do we do this? So I think we're gonna do this. We're gonna go with the Casa girls first, and then we're gonna try to make room on the board for everyone. So who do we have? We have Grayson, who is 25, Clark, who is 24, Coco, who is 24, Vanna, who's 21, and then Jaden, who is 25. Ariana announces these new Casa rules. So everyone is single now, and everyone gets to couple up. So it's basically like day 1, and throughout Casa, like, you are always coupled up. So completely different from how we did it before, and I actually kind of like it. Like, I feel like they thought it was going to be messier than it was, and I truly think that if this was done last season, it would have been so much messier, and I feel like that's why they kind of, like, brought it in. But it wasn't as messy as I thought it would be, but I still love this concept. Loved it. So the girls, it's kind of like day 1, right? The guys are each on their little hearts, and then the girls pick the guy who they want to couple up with. So Grayson chooses Pepe, so they're now coupled up. Vanna chooses Ace. Jaden chooses Austin. So for our Casa boys, we have Elin, who is 24, Brian, who is 28, where is he? Zach K, who is 27, JD, who is 23, Zach K, who is 27, and then Chris, who is also 27. Obviously, back in the villa, the guys were able to kiss the girls, and then, okay, they couldn't use that to, like, pick the girl that they wanted, but they were able to kiss people. So Ariana's like, you know what, girls, you have the exact same thing. You can do the exact same thing. So each girl is allowed to kiss 2 guys, and then it's gonna help them choose who they want to couple up with. So basically, as if it was day 1. So where are they? Oh my god. Okay, so we have a Maya who decides to kiss Chris and Zach K. Sierra and Huda both decide to go for Elan, Brian. Then we have Olandria who goes for Chris, and where is he? And Elan. We have Shelly and Iris who go for Zach C and Chris. And then finally we have Amaya, who goes for Zaxi and also Brian. My bad, okay, it wasn't the girls who were able to kiss the guys to see who they want to couple up with. It was so the guys can, get a little sneak peek of the girls that they want to couple up with, because it's the guys who basically what happened in the villa where the girls stand on like the heart of the guy that they want to couple up with. The guys stand on the heart of the girl that they want to couple up with. So we have JD, who decides to go couple up with Huda. Elin decides to go for Sierra. Zaxi picks Iris. Brian picks Andreina. On Shelly's little heart, we have Zach K as well as Chris. So Shelly is able to decide who she wants. She ends up going with Chris, meaning that Zach, I don't want to say he's like left over, but he's like, for now, he's left over. And then Zach is allowed to pick between Olandria and Amaya, because neither girl have a guy on their heart. And he decides to go with Olandria, meaning that Amaya is single, and within the next 24 hours, if she doesn't make a better connection, she could be dumped from the island. That's pretty much all that happens in day 16. It's pretty much just like, all this happening, them like talking, getting to know each other. We're gonna find a way to clean up the board and we're gonna go into day 17. So day 17, we have Taylor and Clark who are talking. Nick and Ace are watching it, and they're like, we've never seen Taylor be this giddy, this just like excited talking with a girl. So they're like, there was definitely something over here. I don't know if you heard this dog is howling in my backyard. I'm like, sir, can we please calm down? But okay, we have Huda, Olandria, and Sierra who are all talking, and they're all really scared for Amaya because obviously no one wants Amaya to leave. And Sierra opens up about her conversations with Elan. So she likes him, and she likes that there's a hint of seriousness to these conversations that she doesn't really have with Nick. And she's like, obviously I know Nick for longer, but there's just like something with him that it feels more secure, more serious. What is going on in Sierra's head, we do not know. We will see. And everyone is super stressed because they're like, someone is gonna leave tonight, right? At night, we're first gonna go to Casa. So obviously Amaya, now she is single. Everyone's gathered around the fire pit, right? And then they get a text that if there's a boy who has a better connection with Amaya than they do in their couple, that they should stand up, right? And we have Zach K who stands up. That means that he is coupled up with Amaya, and unfortunately Olandria is single. So we have the same text saying if there's a boy who has a stronger connection with Olandria than in their initial couple, please stand up. No one stands up, meaning that Olandria is dumped. I mean, obviously I didn't want any girl to leave, but I was like, no. No, but just wait because it gets worse. Now we go to the villa, and this was messy. My heart was beating, and I loved it. I loved the messiness. Oh my god, it was so good, but I was stressed. I was actually, like, if I was wearing my Apple Watch, my heart rate would have spiked. First, TJ is single, right? So we get a text, if there's anyone who has a better connection with TJ than they do in their initial couple, please stand up. And we have Vanna who stands up, leaving Ace single, right? So we get the same text for Ace, and Coco stands up, leaving Nick single. So Nick was kind of talking with Jaden, and they were kind of vibing, but she's also really vibing with Austin. So we get the same text for Nick, and Jaden, you can see it like goes to her face. It's like, is she gonna stand up? Is she not? And you can tell that she's like really thinking about it, but she does not stand up, meaning that Nick is vulnerable. And no, Nick is dumped. That means Nick is dumped. And the crazy thing was that like Sierra during the day, she was like, I have a bad feeling about Nick. I was like, there's no way we're losing Olandria and Nick in the same night. So Nick and Olandria pack their bags and they leave, but they actually are allowed to go on a date, right? So they tell each other what was going on in the other villa, and then we have a text. And the text says that they can either leave or they can couple up and go back to the villa. So they both decide to couple up and to go back. And Nick actually says, like, I've always kind of had something there for you, and I don't want to really explore, like, out of respect to Taylor and then to Sierra. And Olandria was like, oh, I kind of had that also, because in like episodes, like in the very first few days, they were kissing a lot in challenges. So like there was something there, and they were both like, oh, like let's actually explore it. And they sneak into the villa at night. So big surprise for Taylor the next day when he's gonna wake up, and then boom, surprise, Olandria's here. Day 18. So day 18, obviously Taylor's like surprised that Olandria is here, and Nick actually has, Obviously, Nick talks to all the guys and he tells them what Olandria was telling them that happened in the other villa. Nick pulls Taylor aside and he's like, oh, like, what are you thinking with Olandria being here? And like, obviously there's Clark. And Taylor's like, I do like Clark. Obviously, I do like Olandria. I want to continue pursuing things with both girls. And Nick is like, okay, well, she knows everything. Like, I told her everything. You need to be 100% honest with her, talk to her if you want that, because Olandria is not going to take anyone's bullshit. So they have their conversation and Olandria, she's more closed off to him, obviously because of Clark, but she still had her door is slightly ajar. At night we have raunchy races and Casa wins, and then we also have a little conversation between Sierra and Elin. They're vibing, right? Elin's like, oh, can we have a kiss? And Sierra's like, I don't think I can do this right now because my feelings are stronger for Nick. So she turns him down, and then the episode ends with Nick and Olandria talking, and they share a little kiss. So day number 18, we have Nick and Olandria who are talking about the kiss, and they're like, honestly, we're not really feeling something. We're both thinking more about the other person. Like, Olandria was thinking more about Taylor and Nick was thinking more about Sierra. So they were like, you know what, let's we tested it out, we tried, but we're just not feeling it. So Clark, where is she? Clark actually pulls Olandria out of respect, and she's like, obviously I apologize, but I didn't want to do myself a disservice and not get to know him because you're here. And Olandria's like, I mean, obviously there's a little bit of animosity, but she is an understanding of Clark's situation. And she's like, I totally understand, but obviously I'm a little bit hurt, right? And then we have the text that there's a big recoupling. So how it works now is that so many people go back to the villa, and how do I explain it? Okay, so we have a big heart, right? And then we have the person who, well, how is it? There's not only an order of guys or girls, but we basically have someone who stands up on the heart. They, everyone writes the name of the person who they want to couple up with, right? So the person who's on the heart writes the name of someone, and then the other people who wrote that person's name stands on the heart. If the person who's initially on the heart has the name of someone else who's on the heart, then they couple up. If it's different names, they do not couple up, right? So first on the heart, it's Austin. And Ariana asks, is there anyone who wrote Austin's name? If yes, please stand up. We have Jaden who stands up. Austin wrote her name, so they're officially the first couple going back to the villa. Next we have Amaya. On Amaya's heart we have Zach, K, and JD. Amaya wrote Zach, K on her little card, so they're the second couple going back to the villa, meaning that JD unfortunately will be dumped. Pepe, we have Grayson who stands up. They both have each other's names, so they're the next couple. Andrina, we have Brian who steps on the heart, and they both have each other's names, so the next couple. For TJ, we have both Vanna and Iris who stand up, but TJ put Iris's name, so they're now a couple, and Vanna will be dumped. For Ace, we have Coco and Shelly who both stand up, and Ace decided to go with Shelly, meaning that Coco is also dumped. Huda puts Chris's name, and Chris stood up on the hearts, meaning that they are the next couple. For Sierra, we have both Nick and Elin who stand up, and Sierra put Nick's name. Taylor, he has Clark and Olandria who stand up on his heart. He put Clark. Everyone is shocked that he actually put Clark, but yeah, he put Clark, meaning that Olandria is dumped. I mean, not necessarily dumped, but the people who are at risk are Olandria, Coco, and Vanna in terms of girls, and then after Zach, C, JD, and Elin in terms of guys. So I thought everyone was going to be dumped because that's normally how Casa works, but then actually we have the boys who get the OG boys who get to pick which girl is saved, and then the girls, the OG girls, who get to pick which boy is saved. So the boys decide to save Olandria, and the girls decide to vote to pick Elin, meaning that Vanna, Coco, as well as JD and Zach are all dumped. Okay, so day number 20. I'm sorry, I needed to take a break because my throat it just started freaking out for a bit, and I've been hysterically coughing for the past 5 minutes. But anyways, day number 20. So we have Taylor, who even though he's coupled up with Clark, he still really wants to continue pursuing Olandria. And then Chris, even though he's coupled up with Huda, he still really wants to continue pursuing Shelly. Elin still is very interested in Sierra. And today, day 20, it's the famous heart rate challenge. But this year it's different. It's not like all the guys go, then all the girls. They go in couples, right? We're not gonna go through whose heart rate the most, but something notable that happened. Huda went all there's typical going all out, right? But Huda pulled Ace aside and really went like all out on him, to the point where it was like a bit much. Even Chris said, I was like doing my own thing going around with the girls, and like I saw Huda there with Ace, and like after a while when I finished with all the girls, like Huda was still there with Ace. So remember that, because that's gonna cause a bit of problems later on. So Elin actually, when it was his turn, he pulled Sierra, and then he made a little comment to Nick like, "Oh, it's your turn to watch now." And Nick, obviously he doesn't really like that, so he's like, what is his problem? And obviously Shelly, she doesn't really like what Huda's doing, because she's like, Huda was like so firm on having boundaries during challenges when it came to like Jeremiah, but now that it's for Ace, she does not care that we have like something, like she doesn't know that she cannot do like acts like that with Ace. So Huda, like, she sees that Shelly is upset, so she tries to talk with Shelly, but Shelly's like, honestly, not tonight, because I'm so mad right now. Like, I don't want to say anything bad. I don't want to do anything bad. Like, I just don't want to talk right now. Does that wrap up day number 20? No. Okay, so Nick pulls Elin. Basically, he tells Elin how he's like annoyed with like the breakfast and the challenge, and Elin's like, I apologize. I didn't mean to cause any problems. Like, I really didn't want to cause drama. And Nick accepts the apology, but he's still like not really feeling super great. But day 21, Nick is through the roof ecstatic, because we have a text and Nick and Sierra get to go on their first little date outside of the villa, and they actually decide to close things off. So super cute. We love that for them. And while that is happening, we actually have Elin and Brian who are in the villa, right? And Elin tells Brian, hey, I'm still really interested in Sierra. I still really want to get to know Sierra. And then Brian's like, dude, she's literally on a date right now with like some other guy. And Elin's like, yeah, I know, but like I still want to try. The two come back in, right? Everyone is like, oh my god, like what happened? And then they announce that they close things off. So obviously Elin isn't like feeling great. We also have Andrina, who pulls Pepe, and she's like, hey, I feel like we had something, I'm interested in you. I want to see if you're like interested in exploring this connection. And Pepe's like, obviously I do want to get to know you better, because like we're friends in here, but I don't see things that way. Poor Andrina, she's like, I feel so stupid. Like I've never been friendzoned before, but Pepe's like, I do want to focus on my connection with Grayson. And then day 22. So day 22, we have Amaya who pulls Zach. I wouldn't say she's annoyed, but she's like, is everything okay? Because like you're never really pulling me. I'm always going to pull you. And like yesterday you didn't talk to me. And Zach's like, I'm really sorry. Like I want to do better, and I'm actively going to try to do better. But I do also want to get to know Alandria. And we have Pepe who's talking with TJ, and he's like, honestly, I don't think I'm really feeling it with Grayson. Like, I really miss Hannah. And then we have a text for a challenge. Well, not a challenge. I wouldn't say a challenge. I wouldn't say a game, but a little like event. Let's put it that way. So all the Islanders are able to write a little like postcard and like send it to another Islander. It can be anonymous or not. And you can basically like call them out on something, like ask them a question, and they're kind of like forced to answer. So we're not going to go through all of them, but Sierra gets one from Pepe where he's asking the girls why Hannah got sent home. And Sierra explains, like, the other girls like didn't really have the chance to explore multiple connections. Hannah did. She had two. So he felt like it wasn't fair to let the other girls go without having the chance to do that. And it's like, I understand where they're coming from, but I also feel like Hannah had a good thing going, that if she stayed, she could have made it further. Like, I don't know. It's like, I understand where they're coming from, but I still think Hannah should have left? No. Like, am I kind of biased because I love Hannah? Yes, but I don't think she should have left. Then for Amaya, someone says that she cries too much and moves on too fast. Obviously, she had a little something with Austin. Austin brings up that she gets too emotional too fast. And then we have Ace, who also had his little thing with Amaya, who's like, she gets too emotional too fast, she becomes too much. And these guys, like, I guess, yeah, it makes sense, you're bringing things up. But then Zach decides to open his mouth and say, like, more things. And Amaya's annoyed because she's like, we literally talked, like, today, a couple of hours ago. Why are you waiting until now to bring it up? Zach is like, I feel like he doesn't really understand why it's like hurting her when it's like you're literally exposed in front of everyone, and that's what really pisses her off. She ends up like walking away crying. Yeah, sure, Zach can have something against her, but it's like you can maybe try to defend her. And actually Brian, like, really, where is he? Brian actually really does defend her. He's like, she's Hispanic. Like, in Hispanic households, we are very emotional, we are very touchy, we are very affectionate. So it's like, it's how she grew up, it's what she knows, it's just like how she is. It's not like something toxic, right? So it's actually really cute that Brian does defend her. So Ace gets asked why he didn't close things off with Shelly, and then he says, I had the chance to explore other people, and I wanted to give her the chance to explore. So I know that, okay, if we like get something more serious here, if we like close things off, make it exclusive, then she had her test and I had mine, which I feel like fair, you know, I feel like fair, but they've also kind of like been tiptoeing around this from the beginning that I would expect it to have happened now. But you know, I can also see where he's coming from. So Shelly's next, and Shelly gets asked why she hasn't talked with Chris since Casa, and Shelly says, you know, like I haven't really seen like actions matching his words. Like he says something, he says he's gonna be like invested, he's gonna try to get to know me, he's gonna try to do things, but he doesn't do anything. So I'm not gonna put my energy there where it's not reciprocated. And then Huda actually speaks up where she's like, you know, Shelly always says like it's just a challenge, it's just a challenge, just a challenge. But now that it's with Ace, she's like, oh, it's like not a challenge anymore. And Shelly's like, well, no, okay, like, I mean, yes, it is just a challenge, but like when you were freaking out over Jeremiah, I told you it's just a challenge because it's not a big deal because Iris was a bombshell. This is like the guy who I've basically been interested in since day one. It's very disrespectful for you to act like, for you to do this much. Yeah, sure, go, like, girl, do your thing, but like don't do that for like a while during a challenge, because like, no, you can't do that. Huda actually ends up apologizing, but Shelly's like, not that she's like, I'm not gonna accept it, but she just like doesn't respond. And then Huda goes next. One of her cards says that Hannah was robbed from her experience. Meanwhile, Huda should have been dumped twice. And do I think Huda should have left earlier? Honestly, I think so. She does keep things entertaining, but I feel like she should have left earlier. And like Nick says, you know, like Hannah has put an effort. Hannah has actually tried, and he hasn't really seen that from Huda. But then she's like, you know, when I went to cast, I talked with all the guys, and the guys did back her up. And then the next card that she gets, well, the card is saying that she can't call herself a girl's girl, basically if she doesn't practice what she preaches. That's Shelly. So Shelly does bring that up with the whole Ace situation where Huda, like back when it was like Jeremiah, she was like demanding loyalty from her friends, but then when it's like another girl's guy, there's no loyalty there. She kind of like defends herself, and after Shelly's also like, you know, like you are incredibly selfish, you don't think of anyone else. You always said that like, okay, I'm gonna bring Chris back for you, Shelly, so you can get to know him. But Shelly's like, you didn't bring him back for me, you brought him back for you. Don't make yourself out to be this like selfless person, like doing everything for other people when clearly you're not. And then the only other really notable thing is Taylor, where I'm not gonna like break down everything that was said, but it was basically like everything that went on with the whole Alangia situation. So after the game where everyone is talking, Huda actually, where is she? Huda kind of like self-isolates because she doesn't really want to like be around the girls because she felt like really, really attacked. And Olangia is like, you know what, honestly, after tonight, Taylor can have Clark, I'm done with him. And then when the girls are getting ready, Grayson is actually a little bit like insecure because she's like, you know, I don't think Pepe actually likes me. But then all the girls are like, no, like he clearly likes you. You don't have anything to worry about. It's obvious that he likes you. But then we know that Pepe, when he was talking with TJ, he's like, I don't know if I'm really feeling it. But anyways, day number 23. So Huda is still sulking in her like self-isolation bubble, and she doesn't really want to talk to anyone because she still doesn't feel super great. So in the dressing room, she does her own things alone. She eats breakfast alone. But then Olangia's like, girl, we need to talk. And basically Olangia's like, I need you to wake up. Like, you're not following girls code, wake up. And they actually have a talk, and Huda like she sees where she went wrong, you know? And then we have Amaya and Zach who have a chat. Let me just flip the page. Basically, Amaya was like, you know, I really didn't appreciate when you took the side of Ace and Austin, and everyone just basically ganged up on me, and you didn't really like even try to defend me. So Zach apologizes, and he explains his point of view, but he's very like defensive. He doesn't really try to comfort her, when I'm not saying that he cannot defend himself. He totally can, but it's like very aggressive, very passive aggressive. He's like not letting her speak, and it's just explosive. It's a huge fight. They both end up walking away, and it was like a very unproductive conversation, because I can understand why Zach could be frustrated, but it's like, calm down. Like, I was actually in shock. I was like, dude, what are you doing? Calm down. So we have Pepe and Grayson who continue talking, and Pepe's like, I guess he's bringing up like concerns about their relationship, and Grayson's like, you know, we still have time to get to know each other and to form a stronger bond. But then Pepe's like, honestly, Grayson, you're a super sweet, super nice girl, but I can't stop thinking about Hannah. Like, I don't think that we can continue with this. So obviously Grayson is heartbroken because all the girls like did tell her that he's clearly into her, you know, like, poor girl, but at least Pepe was honest, right? And then Huda and Shelly actually have a conversation, and they're able to work through things. So we love that for the girls. At night we have a text for a little game where we are ranking people, like ranking all the girls and all the guys based on certain categories, and then it's like the girls who rank the guys, the guys rank themselves, the girls rank rank the guys, and then America ranks the guys, and like vice versa, right? So we do a couple of categories, and the final category is America's vote for their favorite and least favorite girl and boy. Girl and boy. And the 3 least favorite girls are Jaden, Grayson, and Andrina, and the 3 least favorite boys are Elin, TJ, and Tristan. Oh my god, not Tristan, Taylor. How we decide who goes home, because there's like 6 people, right? The Islanders can only save 1. So everyone casts their vote by stepping behind the Islander that they want to save. So behind Jaden, we have Chris and then Brian. Behind Grayson, we only have Elin. Behind TJ, we have, where is he? We have Zach, Kay, and Iris. Behind Andreina, we have Shelly, Amaya, and Huda. Behind Austin, we have Olandria. And then behind Taylor, oh my god, we have Pepe, Nick, Sierra, where is she? And Shelly, meaning that the person who saved is Taylor. Yes, is Taylor. And unfortunately, Elin, Andreina, TJ, Jaden, Austin, and Grayson are all going home. Yeah, that's it for day 23. We're gonna clean up the board. Finally, we're gonna be able to free up some room on this board, and we're gonna hop into day 24. Guys, my bad. I think I said Elin. I just crossed out Elin. Elin is safe. Elin is not here. Oh my god, oopsies. So you guys are probably thinking, Mila, why is Sierra crossed off? Because Sierra left the villa, I think, like, what was it? It was personal reasons. We actually find out on the internet that it's, again, racist things, and it's like, god, because it makes me so mad, because I actually really did like Sierra, and everyone was like, I hate Sierra, and I was like, is there something that's gonna happen? Like, am I not seeing something? I'm like, girl, you were one of my favorites. Like, stop, please, no. But besides that, day 28, not like much happens. Obviously, Clark, like, all of her cast of girls are gone, so she's not feeling super great, but Amaya comes in, cheers her up. So honestly, Amaya, where is Amaya? Amaya is an absolute sweetheart. I would love to meet Amaya. Absolute sweetheart. Love her. We have a challenge. Nothing, like, I guess, significant happens in this challenge. Like, nothing noteworthy or like that's gonna cause drama. After the challenge, Iris talked to the girls and she's like, you know what? I actually kind of want to get to know Pepe. I'm kind of feeling him. Her and Pepe have a chat and they're so cute. They're truly adorable together, and like you can see sparks, you can see chemistry, and oh, I love it. Shelly finally talks with with Chris, and she completely ends things. She's like, I want to focus on Ace and putting all my energy into Ace. Like, we're done here. Amaya and Brian have a chat. Oh my god, sparks. Even more sparks are flying than with Iris and Pepe. So cute, wholesome, love them, and they kiss. The next few things are really short, so we're basically gonna like rapid fire through all of them. So day number 25, we have Taylor. Where is he? Taylor, who plans a little breakfast picnic date for Clark. It's so cute. And Ace is the like host, waiter, whatever. He's so funny. He's absolutely hilarious. We have Nick and Olandria who talk, and Nick, obviously, he's like super sad that Sierra's gone. Ace and Shelly are watching, and they're like, you know what? I see something between them. I think sparks are flying here. And then at night, we have the text for a recoupling where the girls pick. So first up is Shelly, and she decides to couple up with Ace. Then we have Clark, who chooses Taylor. Huda chooses Chris. Olandria chooses Nick. Iris chooses Pepe. And Amaya chooses Brian, unfortunately leaving Zach and Elin single, and they're both dumped from the villa. Day number 26 is like super short. So it is baby day, so nothing like very significant happens. But we have Chris and Huda who do a little group activity like mommy, daddy, and baby yoga class. At night, Ace plans a cute date for Shelly, which we love. And then surprise, the hideaway is open and everyone picks Brian and Amaya. So we love that. Day number 27, it's boys day, right? So all the boys go out. I forget what they do, probably a sport or something like that. So the boys go out, and then Taylor tells them that he's planning to close things off with Clark. So Clark used to be a cheerleader, right? So when the guys get back, Taylor prepares a little like cheer to ask Clark if they can close things off, and it's so cute. Then Hood and Chris talk, and Chris is kind of confused because he's like, okay, well, in bed at night you want to do all these things, but you don't want me to kiss you in public. Like, is something going on? Like, are you ashamed of me? Is it me? Like, what's going on? And Huda, she's not really validating his feelings. She keeps on cutting him off, saying that he's like wrong basically, and they don't really come to terms on a like solution or an agreement. They both storm off, walk off, and then we have a text where America has been voting for their most and least favorite couple. So the two couples at risk are Clark and Taylor, as well as Nick and Olandria, but turns out the couple with the least amount of votes are Clark and Taylor, and they're unfortunately dumped from the villa. Day number 28, everyone is feeling really sad because Taylor was a huge personality in the villa, and they're like, with him gone, it just doesn't feel right. We have a little challenge, but nothing like super noteworthy happened. But we have a chat between Shelly and Olandria, and Olandria's like, you know, I want to kiss Nick outside of a challenge because I feel like last time we kind of wrote things off too fast, and I feel like there might be something there. So the two talk, they kiss, and oh, sparks are flying. We love that. And we have Brian and Amaya who are also like, we want this type of energy between Huda and Chris. We want them to continue, like, to actually be civil and have a conversation with each other. So their plan is that they're going to each invite, well, like, Amaya's going to invite Huda, Brian is going to invite Chris to their dock and be like, oh, we know, go there. I'm going to meet you a bit, like, in a few. And their plan works. They get to talk and they hash things out. So we love that. And then once again, the hideaway is open. And tonight they decide to pick Ace and Shelly. So Ace, he prepared a little like speech, right? So in the hideaway, Ace gives his speech and he decides to close things off with Shelly. So super cute. Day 29, it's family day. So the only like big noteworthy thing is that Chris was like super nervous because his mom and his sister are so picky. They never like anyone who he brings around, but they loved Huda. So we love that. And then at night, we have a big final couple dinner. And once dinner happens, we have these little like, I guess like plates that are placed in front of every single couple with a little like, I was gonna say helmet, not a helmet, a little like cap, I guess, cover with the handle. Every couple opens it and sees if they were, I guess, allowed. They were invited or they made it to the final. Yes, they made it to the final. We have Iris and Pepe. They made it to the final. Amaya and Brian, they made it to the final. Nick and Olandria, they made it to the final. Ace and Shelly actually did not make it. And that blew my mind. I was so sure they were going to make it. Like, I mean, I love Pepe and Iris. I love them. But I was like, these two have had something going on since the start. So I was very surprised. And then we have Huda and Chris who make it to the final. We have like one more day before the final, but I'm going to like set it up to announce who the winners were. We're just going to be lazy and use my script papers to announce the finalists. But anyway, day 30. So we have the final date, right? On Huda and Chris's date, they actually decide to end things. So Huda's logic was like, there's so many cracks, there's no like solid foundation. If it's not like built on something solid here, I'm not going into the real world long distance with this, which I think is very fair. And then we have Brian and Amaya who decide to become exclusive on their dates. So we finally made it. We're at the end and we're going to be announcing who won Love Island 2025. So in fourth place, we have Iris and Pepe. I'm really trying not to like spoil it by revealing someone who I'm not supposed to. In third place, oh my god, I'm trying to pull this off. We have Huda and Chris. And then I'm not gonna say second place, I'm gonna say first place. And the winners of Love Island USA 2025 are Amaya and Brian, and I'm so happy they won. Even though they're a new couple. I love them. And I mean, obviously, second place, Nick and Olandria. So guys, there you go. This is the breakdown of Love Island season 7, well, Love Island USA 2025 season 7. Come back again the same time next year for season 8. No, but honestly, if you enjoyed today's video, I'm working on Love Island UK. The amount of brain cells that I've lost this entire month, because like I don't think you understand what goes into these videos. Like, I watch them, I take notes on my iPad like super fast, and then I revisit my notes, clean them up, see what I actually want to include in my video, what I don't include in my video, and like type my notes properly so I can actually read them when I'm talking. And then I come here to film. But then once I'm done filming, it's editing. And I swear, like I do this every like August, September, then I'm like, I need a break. Like, thank God there's no like Love Island until like December where it's like Love Island Australia, because the amount of brain cells I lose is like catastrophic. And now that I'm done with school, my brain isn't gonna be like popping up new brain cells, right? But anyways, I hope you guys really enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and leave a thumbs up so I know that you enjoy these little reality TV show breakdowns. All my socials are linked down below if you want to go check me out. I need to go take a haul. I need to go drink some tea because my throat is absolutely killing me. But stay safe, protect your vibe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, guys.